Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Go Premanande. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganaradam Samritam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savasitam Kalijana Saitam Vishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganaradam Shri Gasakamritam Sya Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Vanda Jagate Gopika Gopika Kanta Radha Namaste Apakanchana Gurani Radhe Namaste Krishna Vasudeve Pranami Hari Priye Vanchapakadurisa Kripasindhudeya Patihanam Pavanyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasana Gaurabhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I believe we're up to the chapter 7, text number 2. Anybody want to confirm that? That what you hear last?
Yeah.
Is that what we're up to? 7.2?
Yeah, 7.2 we have to take
today.
Yeah.
Thank you. if everyone can repeat. Yanam
Yanam
te
te
ham sa vigyanam idam vaksyami asheshataha yaj yatva neha bhuyo nyaj gyatavyam avashishyate Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vaksyami asheshataha yasgyatva neha bhuyo nyaj yatavyam avashishyate Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vaksyami asheshataha yasgyatva neha bhuyo nyaj yatavyam avashishyate Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vaksyami asheshataha yasgyatva neha bhuyo nyaj yatavyam avashishyate
Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vaksyami asheshaha yajnatva neha bhuyo nyaj jnanatyam avishyate.
Anyone else?
Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vaksham yas aseshata yajjagatva neha bhuyo anya gyatavyam vashishyate
Jnanam, phenomenal knowledge. Te, unto you. Aham, I. Sa, with. Vigyanam, numinous knowledge. Idam, this. Vaksyami, shall explain. Asheshataha, in full. Yat, which. Yatva, knowing. Na, not. Iha, in this world. Bhuyaha, further. Anyat, anything more. Gyatavyam, knowable. Avashishyate, remains. Translation. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Purport. Prabhupada. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above-mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord, in disciplic succession, directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes, and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1:3, say, Kashmin Bhagava Vigyate Sarvam Idam Vigyatam Bhavati. No English. So I'll read the translation again. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. I'm going to go over the purport again. Not read it straight. This time I'm going to comment. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. So sometimes, what is knowledge? What is intelligence? So the meaning of knowledge is to know who I'm a spirit soul, to know the material world, to know the different energies, to know that it's a spiritual world, and know who's the controller of all of that. That's knowledge. Now I know. In other words, Krishna is the source of everything. Aham Savasya Prabhavo. That everything emanates from Krishna. So the spiritual world, the material world is all coming from Krishna. So I am also a part of Krishna. I am a spirit soul. So knowledge means to know matter, spirit, and the controller of both. That's actual knowledge. Knowledge doesn't mean you get a degree in something and all you learn about is this phenomenal world. That is not considered knowledge according to Vedas. It's knowing the difference between matter and spirit and the controller of both. So, matter, spirit, okay. What's spiritual? Anybody give me something, tell me something that's spiritual. It's a trick question.
Anything used in Christian service.
That's right. Very good. That's actually what I was going to get at, but you already got right to the point. Anything used in Krishna service is spiritual. Becomes spiritualized. Like, for instance, this microphone. If we use this microphone only for Krishna Katha, that microphone becomes spiritual. How does it become spiritual? It's not that it like floats in the air and goes through walls. Or it becomes spiritual because whatever comes in contact with it, your ears, benefits spiritually. So someone who's completely absorbed in Krishna, who's fully Krishna conscious, anyone who comes in contact with that person makes spiritual progress. So similarly, that body he has or she has is spiritual. Even though it's made of the material elements, it's considered spiritual because anything that comes in contact with it becomes spiritual. Just like iron. This is iron, this part of the microphone. If we take this and we put it in fire, very, very, very hot fire, then this iron rod will act as fire. We take it out, we touch a piece of paper, it will burn the paper. Because the iron is kept in the fire. So if we keep something in Krishna consciousness, then that becomes spiritual. So what we want to try to work on is keeping ourselves in Krishna consciousness. There are many impediments. You try to be Krishna conscious, Maya is not going to just sit back and say, oh, very nice, I'll let you just do whatever you want. I'm not going to... She's going to make sure no one goes back to the spiritual world who is not qualified. So she knows every individual has different types of Maya that they're attracted to more than other things. One man might be attracted to women more than anything else, and so Krishna uses a woman to keep him away. Someone else might be attracted to followers. I want people following me. I want to be the leader. And this becomes very subtle. You might actually think, I'm really trying to preach Krishna consciousness, But actually, my hidden, Krishna knows our deepest desire, might be that I get followers, that people will follow me, people will listen, people will think I'm great, people will think I'm a guru. So that is another type of Maya. So your intention is extremely important. The most important thing in Krishna consciousness is your intention. Now, I have an intention to spread Krishna consciousness, but I may have a deeper desire to have followers. So therefore, it kind of negates my whole reason. And I also do not have the real potency to spread Krishna consciousness if I have an ulterior motive. Because purity is the force. The purer I am, the more I will be able to convince others to give up their lives to Krishna. So there are different kinds of Maya. Someone might want followers, someone might want women, someone might want money. I'm doing this because it's advantageous for me to make more money. Generally, you don't think of being a devotee to make more money because it don't seem to really work. But you become a guru and so many people give you money, it's pretty nice. Of course, then you have to try to set some standards. I don't know of anybody that's gone to the extreme of becoming a guru for money. Maybe for this experience of having followers. Because Lord Chaitanya said, I don't want women, I don't want money, I don't want followers. I only want to serve you. So the followers is a little stronger than the money. So what are our reasons why we're trying to be devotees? If we're trying to be a devotee and trying to be pure just to please Srila Prabhupada, just to please the Acharyas, just to please Krishna, then that motive is very good. And we should do whatever it takes to become pure. And then if we become pure, and even to the degree in which we become pure, to that degree we will be effective in helping others to become pure. We may not be completely pure, even though Prabhupada has considered us pure, because we're in the fire. Just like the iron rod. You put the iron rod in the fire, it's not fire yet, but if it stays in there, it will be fire. If we stay in Krishna consciousness, we will be pure. Like a shower. You're in the shower. You just did all this dirty work out in the garden and whatever. You're all filthy. You're in the shower. You're not clean. You just got in. But you're considered clean. Because as long as you just stay in there, soap up, whatever, then you'll be clean. So similarly, devotees, Prabhupada has called devotees, disciples, sometimes pure devotees. But we're not pure devotees. But if we stick with it and don't deviate, we are considered pure devotees because we will be pure devotees within a short time. So, knowledge, knowing the difference between matter and spirit. Spirit is not just the spiritual world, not just the incarnations, but anything used in Krishna's service becomes spiritualized. Specifically, or most importantly, is the individual body of the spirit soul that's fully surrendered to Krishna. Their body becomes spiritualized. And you touch that body, you benefit. They touch their lotus feet, you benefit. So we want to try to serve those devotees. And even if someone isn't 100% spiritual, still, to whatever degree they are, by coming in contact with their body, you'll benefit. Prabhupada said, like even these books, they're completely spiritual. And he said, if you read one word, you're benefited. Even if you touch the book, you're benefited. We may not see how imperceptible the benefit is, but it's recorded. There's karma and there's akarma, or that activity that one becomes free from karma. So when you touch this, you're making you start your progress in spiritual life. So that was the first sentence. Now here, this is transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge actually means knowledge beyond matter. Mundane knowledge is the knowledge that just deals with matter. Transcendental knowledge deals with the knowledge beyond matter. So the Lord wants to explain the above-mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. So he doesn't just explain it to anybody, but you have to have some qualification. He's his friend, he's his devotee. Therefore, he's explaining it to him. Now, you might say, well, therefore he's explaining it to everybody because we all have Bhagavad Gita. But also, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says how this knowledge is the most secret of all secrets. So he isn't giving it to everybody. It might be presented to everybody, but not everybody will be able to understand it. When they read, they're not going to understand the meaning of it. But if you're a devotee or a friend of Krishna, you think favorably toward Krishna, and then you read it, then you'll get the real understanding. I had a good experience with this once. I was reading Bhagavad Gita. It was at my brother's funeral. I was reading it out loud, but just to myself. And my aunt was sitting right next to me. And when I was reading it, the second chapter I was reading, I was getting so much realizations about how you're not this body. Everybody's lamenting, my brother passed away. But he's not that body, he's a soul, he just left. Anyway, so I was getting all these realizations. And my aunt is, I was feeling, she's listening very attentively, and she's also experiencing the same Krishna consciousness, this bliss. And then after I finished, she said, "Did you understand any of that?" It's like, oh man. So it can be presented to two people. One person completely gets so much out of it, and the other person doesn't, because he's qualified. He has the right attitude. He's sincere. So that's why it's an open secret. It's presented to everybody, but only those who are sincere, Krishna's in their heart, can get them to understand what this really means. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in the cyclic succession directly from the Lord. Also very important. How do you get this knowledge? Through the cyclic succession. We are all going through the cyclic succession through Srila Prabhupada. Either directly, we are going directly through him, or directly to him through his representatives. So someone who gets initiated by one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples is also getting this knowledge through Srila Prabhupada, through Bhaktisiddhanta, all the way close to Krishna. It's called a transparent via media. The spiritual masters are transparent via media. Just like these glasses. You put them in front of you, and of course they're not very good for seeing distance, they're only for reading. But they help me to see. It's not like by putting them there, now I have something in between me and this. So there's the Guru who's in between us and Krishna, but he just helps you to see Krishna. He doesn't interfere with you. So your seeing is direct. Because I put these glasses on, it's not like I'm not seeing directly anymore. I'm still seeing directly. Just with the help of the glasses, I can see even better. So we see Krishna directly through the disciplic succession. So therefore, Krishna, I love Krishna. But if you really love Krishna, then you love and you serve his representative. Then that's showing Krishna. It's like, what can you do to really please Krishna? But if you please his representative, he sends somebody, and you're nice to that person he sends, he appreciates that more than anything else. So the way to please Krishna is to please his pure representative. And when you please his representative, he is pleased. Prabhupada gave the example of a rich man. What can you do to please a rich man? What can you do? I could say something funny and then it may not be funny. He's not so pleased. Prabhupada gives the example, if he has a son and you pat his son nicely on the head, he's pleased. He said, if he has a dog and you pet his dog nicely, he's pleased. So he said, similarly, I am like Krishna's dog. So if we just please, of course we don't see Prabhupada as Krishna's dog, but he was seeing that. I was reading today in the Lilamrita about his godbrothers were not very happy that he was spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, trying to find fault. And Prabhupada saying that how they're envious. And the author, which was Satsvarup Maharaj, he was saying that they should be happy that Bhakti Siddhanta worked through Srila Prabhupada coming to the West to spread Krishna consciousness. So we should see Prabhupada is spreading Krishna consciousness. He's not seeing he's spreading, he's seeing his guru is working through him to spread Krishna consciousness. He's giving credit to his guru. So they should also give credit to Bhakti Siddhanta. And they should give credit to Srila Prabhupada, how Bhakti Siddhanta is working so nicely through Srila Prabhupada. So sometimes when someone is so great, it's like I don't really become envious of them. It's like but when someone is close, similar, like for me, there's another devotee, and he preaches, and he makes so many devotees, and he's so pure, then I might become envious of him. I hope not, but I might. So similarly, whatever situation you're in, there's always somebody that's doing a little bit better, and then you could become envious of that. So you have to really not become envious of anyone, because, Prabhupada gave the example of the gopis, that the gopis, when you please class, when you come off the altar, let me know, because when the plate comes off the altar. Okay. Also, we got a little braver. Okay, any other question?
In so many chapters it is mentioned that Krishna is the only object for meditation.
The only object for what?
Meditation. We know how to chant Hare Krishna, but how to meditate on Krishna?
Just to meditate on that sound.
Keep a picture of Krishna.
Oh no, there's different things you can do. No. Meditating on the sound of Krishna. Krishna is not different than his name. You can meditate on Krishna just by thinking of that. You can meditate on Krishna by thinking of his different pastimes. You can meditate. I remember when I first went to the temple, every Sunday we'd have a japa class. And they would have a picture of Krishna playing the flute. And there was, at least the instructor, who was Rupanuga at the time, he lives in Alachua now, and I think he has a farm, Rupanuga. Anyway, he's an old Prabhupada disciple. He was the president of the Brooklyn Temple at the time, Henry Street Temple. And he said, you look at the feet and you work your way up. And by the end of the mantra, you get to the head, then you go back at the feet. So you go Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. That's what he taught us. I'm not saying that I've ever heard that anywhere else. But you can do that, meditating on Krishna. You can meditate on his form. You can meditate on his pastimes. You can meditate on his name. Prophets are just hearing the name. And he even said once, what is a question of thinking? You're just hearing. You just hear the name. You don't have to be thinking, and that's, you're associating with Krishna. He's not different than his name. So Krishna, of course, he's in his name. He's in his form, personality, his pastimes. He also said, when you chant Hare Krishna, you can think of Krishna's pastimes. So he said different things, but any of them, he's absolute. So in any way you think of Krishna or hear Krishna, it's absolute. We were told at the same time that the senses can be controlled. The mind can be controlled in between two senses. So when you chant and then you hear, when you chant Hare Krishna and you're hearing Hare Krishna, then the mind can be controlled. So then we add the touch with the beads, so that's another sense. Then we add the seeing, the form, and then smelling incense or flowers offered to Krishna. Then all of our senses are engaged in Krishna, and then the mind can be controlled. But the mind can be controlled between two senses. Now I'm just telling you what this, I don't remember reading this, but in the beginning of this movement, in the old days, most of what you heard was bona fide. And this was the class that was given, and I remember these things from the class. So it may be written somewhere, or Prabhupada may have just spoken it even. And not everything Prabhupada spoke was recorded, especially in the earlier days. So the chanting there's different ways you can be thinking and meditating, but the chanting, we don't sit and think of Krishna. We don't do that. We chant. And you can think of Krishna while you're chanting or hear the sound.
Like while chanting, so many thoughts come into your mind, like about job, about anything else. So in spite of thinking those things, we can think about pastimes.
Yes. You could bring it back to Krishna. It says wherever the mind wanders, you have to bring it back. I had this this experience, not this experience, what I thought about, because I see, I'm chanting japa. I'm concentrating on japa. And then I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, I'm thinking of when I was in school. And then I think, how did I get to that? I didn't just, so then I go back. I was thinking of school. I was thinking of this other thing. I was thinking of this other thing. I was thinking of this other thing, thinking of this other thing, thinking of this other thing. And that's where it first started, where I first deviated. So we stop hearing japa. We start thinking of something else. And it takes us some time before we even realize we're not listening to the holy name anymore. And when we get to that point, we bring it back. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We try to bring it back. This is my own analogy, that I'm driving from here to Florida, I take 95, and then I wind up on some other road. Where did I get there? So I get back on 95, and then I get off, and I'm somewhere else again. Why am I getting off everywhere? I'm trying to go to Florida, get back on, and then I'm somewhere else. It's like, it's insane. But this is what our mind does. And why does our mind do that? Prabhupada answered this question. Why, when you're chanting Hare Krishna, does your mind go on something else? He said, because you desire to forget Krishna. So when you desire to forget him, he helps you forget him. Gets you something to think of something else. So then, when we realize, now I'm in the middle of nowhere, I don't know how I got here. It doesn't even matter how I got here. Let me just go back. Although one time I did figure out, I went back after everything I was thinking of till I got to this one thing. I don't remember what it was. But it's like, it's insane how much this mind, goes from one thing to another and gets to something totally off of Krishna. So once you realize, it says, by constant practice and detachment. So constant practice is now, I realize I'm no longer hearing the holy name. I'm thinking of my job. Okay, bring it back. I'm not going to, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I want to try to keep concentrating every time I realize. So maybe it's some time before you realize you deviated. But as soon as you realize you deviated, you bring it back to Krishna. And when Krishna sees you doing this, he's going to help you to remember him and not forget him. Man proposes, God disposes. I'm showing Krishna that this is what I want. Not because I say it. I can say anything. Yes, I do want to remember Krishna, but I don't do anything about it. But when I do something about it, when I show him that I really do want to remember him, then he will help me to remember him. So I have to show by my actions. My actions and my desires have to be in accord. I desire, like I gave this example, I desire to be rich, but I don't do anything about it, so I don't want to be rich that much. I mean, even though I really would love to be rich, but I'm not going to try and waste any time to be rich. So it's not a real strong desire. So if I want Krishna, then I have to show Krishna by my actions that I want him. Just like the envy. I have to show Krishna that I don't want to be envious by my actions. Krishna, I don't like thinking this way. Help me. I'll approach that person. I'll serve. I'll do anything you want. I don't want to be envious. Then Krishna will help us so we're not envious. But we can't just think it. I don't want to be envious. We have to try to do something about it. I'll do anything you want. Tell me what to do. I'll do it. Well, I want you to do well. I don't want to do that. So we have to try. Right, plates off the altar. Okay, let's offer our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada.